Welcome back to Jones & Company. I'm your host, Brian Jones, and I'm joined today by Kristen Jones.
Thank you, Brian.
And we've been having a great conversation with Dr. Rodney Smith, president of the university, talking about the past, present, and we'll eventually get to the future. Exactly about where the vision of the university is, and it's all laid out in its strategic plan, which is tied in with the National Development Plan, which we were just discussing. And Christian, you were just about to follow up with an additional question on that topic.
Right. Dr. Smith, there has been recently, for public consumption, some debate over the appointment of a new president of the University of the Bahamas, and you being the first president and a Bahamian who met and some would say surpassed the criteria to be appointed president of the University of the Bahamas. I know for a lot of your colleagues, I'm sure that was empowering, that the government prioritized making a Bahamian or putting a Bahamian in that pioneer role. As now a foreigner has been appointed president of the University of the Bahamas, the government did receive some backlash with, I believe, the Minister of Education saying that she would like to see personally a Bahamian in that spot. That prompted Mr. Ingram, the former Prime Minister, to make reference of the importance of politicians staying out of the direction of the University of the Bahamas. How immune is the university and the university's leadership to political interference in the decisions of the university?
Well, I think that you're talking about two different eras in the sense, and that's also part of the transition and the transformation that's taking place. We still are saddled with persons who have not adjusted psychologically from what used to be the Council of the College of the Bahamas to what is now the Board of Trustees of a University of the Bahamas, and there's a big difference. But because it's so new, it's so early in this process, just what, five and a half years now, we still have individuals in the government as well as individuals not in the government who are still with the mentality that we are still functioning as a council of the College of the Bahamas. And as you know, the council is always appointed by the sitting government. We now have a board of trustees that the government can only appoint 4 of 22 people. Those other persons on the Board of Trustees are appointed by their fellow trustees, or they're on the Board of Trustees by way of their position, a staff member, for instance, Alumni Affairs President of the Alumni Association, a faculty trustee, a retiree faculty trustee, that sort of thing. But the other persons are actually selected by the trustees. They have to be nominated to the Board of Trustees. They have to go through a process of vetting by the Board of Trustees, and then they're brought onto the Board of Trustees to serve. Decisions of the Board of Trustees of the University of the Bahamas are decisions that are made in the best interest of the university and are not influenced by politics or by the government. Mind you, the university does benefit from significant financial support from the government as a national university. But I believe that I've served now as president of the university, college then university, served under 3 prime ministers. And all 3 prime ministers have been very supportive of the university and have maintained distance from trying to influence the affairs of the University of the Bahamas. And that's really, really important. I think that is spelt out in the very first couple of pages of the UB Act, that there must be no outside or political or religious interference in the affairs and the governance of the University of the Bahamas. That's very, very clear.
I think that answers my question.
Right, right. And just following on with the discussion regarding the National Development Plan and the university's planning, the university has managed to expand its footprint, right, within the Bahamas, also, expanding, in fact, we have a new campus in the north. Can you speak about what the strategic plan entails with regard to further expanding the footprint of the university?
I can better speak to what the initial vision was
Yes.
when we chartered into from college to university. Then I could say what's in the strategic plan in terms of that level of structure. Because I think this is a part of the new revision that has to take
Absolutely.
place.
That's what I'm looking to get at. What's the vision for the growth and expansion of the university?
That has to come from the Board of Trustees, with, of course, with a lot of consultation internally as well as externally. That new vision is what's going to have to define the direction going forward. So I could not speculate on that. I think we have a new president coming in place.
Sure.
He's going to have some degree of influence on that vision as well.
Okay, what I was really trying to get at is in terms of when you set out on this mission,
Yeah.
and you did in fact execute on the plan up to this point. You made some inroads in terms of expanding the footprint of the university. When it was just the College of the Bahamas, the university looks entirely different today, right?
Yes.
What are some of the major improvements you would say happened in terms of building out the infrastructure of the university?
Well, in terms of the vision was to have multiple campuses. The vision was to create a University of the Bahamas system with campuses that were specialized campuses, but campuses that would help to spark the economic development of those communities where those campuses are located. We talked about, first of all, the main campus, which is in Nassau.
Yes.
We have the School of Law, College of Law, which will be in Nassau as well. College of Allied Health Medicine, which is also in Nassau. But we also talked about a northern campus, University of the Bahamas North, specializing in things like manufacturing, engineering, and the STEM areas, but also having the largest business incubator in the country in terms of for the university, where people can actually go to UB North, study entrepreneurship, get a degree or a certificate in entrepreneurial studies, but also get the funding to start a business, either there in Grand Bahama, that would help to spark the economic development in Grand Bahama, or back in their own island, or wherever they decide to take their business. But that's where the largest entrepreneurial center or business incubator will be in the country. The recent acquisition of the Kipling building, and in partnership with the IDB and in partnership with the SBDC, is going to make that a reality. So that's on its way. Another part of the vision was that we would have a Western campus. The Western campus would be in Grand Bahama, in Andros, and that would take off from what is now BAMSI, and that would specialize in the College of Agriculture and Marine Sciences for the University of the Bahamas. Another campus, of course, we have a campus in San Salvador, the Gerace Research Institute, which would be our southern campus. We're also talking about creating a campus in Exuma. It's important to do that in Exuma, which kind of southeastern Bahamas, but also one in Long Island. But the important thing about it is we want to build towards having a multi-campus University of the Bahamas system, where each campus is specializing in certain areas that you cannot get that degree in that area unless you go to that particular campus. So what you see happening is people begin to spread out. When we start recruiting internationally, people would come to the Bahamas for these hybrid programs that can only be taught in the Bahamas, in our environment, in our waters. Given our geological structure and everything else, you can only get that education here and the experience here.
Great.
So we would not only attract scholars to the Bahamas and researchers, but students as well. But they would fly into Nassau and then probably fly directly to their campus outside of Nassau.
Right.
But that's the vision.
Right, and that
building
brings to
up our
mind the
system.
Small Island Development Institute as well. Is that the right term I'm using? The Small Island
Yes,
Studies.
as a matter of fact, we opened in 2018, we opened the Small Island Development Research Complex at the University of the Bahamas, which has about 6 labs in it. One of those labs is the lab that I was talking about earlier, that would be equipped to test any kind of sample that researchers come to the Bahamas and discover, from plants, from geological samples to marine samples as well, test them right at the University of the Bahamas. But having the intellectual property rights policy now in place, it protects whatever is discovered, that it stays in the Bahamas. the ownership of it stays in the Bahamas. So, yes, we have a lot of different projects going on, a lot coming out of the Small Island Sustainability Research Complex. We're getting ready to open our aquaponics garden on campus as well.
Right.
It's behind the School of we just renamed the School of the College of Culinary, Hospitality, and Leisure Management Studies. And so it's right behind there. So we're excited. A lot of good things are happening with the university.
In retrospect, let's discuss some of the growing pains, right? It all hasn't been, I guess, all roses, right? The university has gone from strength to strength, no doubt about it, but it's not been a straight road, right?
No, and I'm glad you used the term straight road. It's not been a straight road. One of the things my vice presidents at the university could always tell you is that I remind them constantly that if we have a goal, if we have an objective, if you approach it one way and that does not work, then you find another way. You don't change your goal, you don't change your objective, you find a different way to achieve that objective. I remember back in 2015, I came to the university, I came to the campus in October 2014. I had lengthy meetings with the then Minister of Works, who was Philip Brave Davis. And I told him we needed Tucker Road closed. I don't know how many people even remember what Tucker Road was. But Tucker Road used to be the road that went straight through the middle of the campus. And the culinary school was on one side that was fenced around, and the road came straight through the campus. But even before that, in 2004, when I was president of College of the Bahamas, I had meetings with Bradley Roberts, who was then Minister of Works. Tucker Road used to have a big bend that went straight into the campus, and that whole area used to be flooded out of almost 2 feet of water. And so Mr. Roberts worked with us, and so we straightened the road. We raised the road considerably. We straightened it, and it became Tucker Road, straight Tucker Road. But the area where the road initially bent into, we turned that into a parking lot. And so we had additional parking space. When I came back in 2014-15, I went to see the Minister of Works about closing the road so that we could begin focusing on the main entrance to the university campus. It took us 3 months to close the road. And folks were saying on campus, we were trying to close that road since you left. How did you do it in just 3 months? I think it's a matter of having the determination. Like I said, if you approach it one way and you don't get it, you have to approach it another way. You find a way. The same thing happened with building the main entrance. We didn't have the money to build the main entrance, but I started appealing to the Ministry of Finance, to the Financial Secretary, to the Minister of Education, to find funds. Monies were identified, and then we introduced the carnival. So we did not have the money. Then some monies were identified, and we were told that you have to spend it by such and such a date, otherwise it's going to go. And we couldn't spend it by that date, so that money went. But we never gave up. We always found a way. And before we were able to charter in 2016, I think it was the summer of 2016 that the new entrance was completed. So that's just one of the things. And then, of course, we completed the Franklin Wilson Building, Graduate Center. And then on the area that used to be the parking lot where the Tucker Road went in, that's where the Small Island Sustainability Research Complex is today.
Right.
Now, we also had a building on campus, the Portia Smith Building, that when I arrived in 2014 was condemned.
Yes.
And they were going to tear it down. We had an engineer look at it, and we went through it, and we said, no, we don't think it's going to be torn down. So we worked with the Council of the College of the Bahamas. We found some funds that were available on an account, and we used those funds to renovate the entire building. And we took away all of the issues that were presenting the problem. All of the carpet is gone. Every floor is now completely tiled from top to bottom. We expanded the roof area, turned it into a fourth story. We widened all of the staircases and everything else. So we created practically a new building. And then we centralized all of the student services into one area. So students go there for a one-stop shop now. And so that was one of the things. And one of our other major accomplishments, of course, was the first residential complex in Grand Bahama. We opened it in 2018, and Hurricane Dorian destroyed it in 2019. So, you know, we had obstacles, we had issues, we had challenges. Internally, coming from the Council of the College of the Bahamas, chartering to a university, and then introducing a new board of trustees, many of whom were familiar with what the Council of the College was all about. That had its challenges and its obstacles. We had our growing pains. I think you were there from the beginning as well, so you know the growing pains I'm talking about. And so we had, I think for the first couple of years, under a first-time board of trustees for the University of the Bahamas, we had a lot of growing pains. We had a lot of things to put in place. We had an academic senate to create. We had policies to put in place. We needed to do board bylaws. We needed to do bylaws for the academic senate. There were so many foundational pieces to put in place that we were bound to get on each other's nerves from time to time, and we did. But I think that we stayed the course, and I think we could look back now in 2022 and say that it was worth it.
No question. But as you look back, would you say you have any regrets?
The only regret I think I might carry, a little bit of a regret, is that we didn't accomplish everything because we got sidetracked by the pandemic. And then Hurricane Dorian caused us to lose our really nice residential hall, and then tore out our entire first floor of our administration building. But, you know, interestingly, to every disaster or every challenge like that, there's a silver lining. And so one of the things that we always wanted to do was to have a downtown campus, because we lost students, commuter students, and working adult students when we moved to the East Campus. So the downtown campus is a serious blessing for us, and we actually end up with more space than we had in the East End. And more possibilities, more opportunities now.
You spoke earlier, Dr. Smith, about the support you've been able to receive from the government and from 3 former prime ministers. But what about the support that private institutions in the country have given to the university?
We continue to get tremendous support, I think, from private institutions. We've worked with the Chamber of Commerce, for instance. The IDB has come online with tremendous amount of support, and we've been moving in a positive direction between the government and the IDB and the University of the Bahamas. We have some great initiatives going on. As a matter of fact, a very large number of senior public servants graduated this morning from a 9-month training program, a very, very intense training program that's going to help to even solidify and strengthen the public service more than ever before. And this is just the beginning. So there are more individuals that will go through that training as well as we move forward. I think there's a lot more need to be done as we grow. But you know, things come along in life that cause you to slow down what you're doing. But I think those things are still going to happen anyway. I told somebody recently the mark of an effective leader is whether or not the people that you led are able to continue the work. And I know for a fact that we have a very, very strong senior team at the University of the Bahamas. I know that we have highly committed faculty members. And just to say a word about our faculty, every person that graduates from the University of the Bahamas, College of the Bahamas, now University of the Bahamas, whenever they go abroad, they discover how much they really know. They amaze themselves at how much they know and how further they are in their education than their classmates in those classes. And that's from everywhere, every profession. I've experienced that. And I think that's a credit to the faculty members at the University of the Bahamas. And I tell people all the time that the faculty at UB are not there to do a job. The faculty at UB are on a mission. And their mission is to make sure that every single student in their class succeeds beyond the wildest expectations, all expectations. And they've been doing that now for years from the very beginning of the College of the Bahamas, and they continue that tradition.
When you compare UB regionally, how do we stand up against other institutions of higher education in the region?
Well, there are different aspects of UB. For instance, there's the financial, the accounting program. There's the pre-med program. There's our culinary program, and they all excel. I know that some of the strongest students at UWI, for instance, in their medical program, are Bahamians, from people from the Bahamas. I know that our culinary program continues to win gold awards in competitions globally. I know that our accounting, our finance program is one of the best in the entire region, without question, in my mind, including the United States, including in Florida, including in U.S. education. And I'll give you an example. We have students who graduate with a bachelor's degree in accounting, and a few months later could take the CPA exam and pass it. Because our fourth year or our senior year at the undergraduate level is equivalent to the first year of a Master's of Business Administration, an MBA program. That's how far advanced our programs are. We have the highest per capita, or we have, not per capita, but we have the highest first-time passing rate of the CPA than any school in this entire region, including the United States. To compare what I'm saying, in the United States, most people have to get the MBA before they can even start studying for the CPA. We get the BA and start studying for the CPA. And have the highest rate of first-time passing.
And so with the university moving on the march to international accreditation and having instituted a number of these other programs, has the university been able to attract top talent in terms of the faculty domestically, and has there been a need to attract international talent to help move the university forward on the faculty level?
Yes, we do have a good number of faculty, international faculty members as well. I think we have 22 countries represented on our campus now. During the pandemic, we had faculty members teaching from all 5 continents around the world. Those are other areas that have opened up opportunities for us, because we're now able to capitalize on expertise at a global level to teach courses virtually, even giving persons contracts who do not necessarily come to the Bahamas and have to get a work permit. So the opportunities have actually opened tremendous amount of doors for us in terms of expanding knowledge-based opportunities, teaching modalities for UB students and for our faculty. So we have been attracting, we do have, and we continue to attract some of the absolute best Bahamian professionals in terms of academicians as well to the university. We rely very heavily on adjunct faculty, persons who are professionals in their respective areas, who teach at the university on a part-time basis. So yeah, we call on the expertise wherever we find them, and they have been coming to us. In a lot of instances, people send me resumes and say, well, they want to teach at the University of the Bahamas. And I have to say, well, did you see a particular position that you're interested in? Did you apply for that position? You have to apply through the HR department. I do not dish out positions. I do not, because you send me your CV or all of your certificates or your degrees, et cetera, doesn't mean I could give you a job. And I have been getting inquiries globally, not just from the United States or Canada either, from countries in Europe where there are Bahamians who want to come back home. And so I could see that the more the university continues to expand and to grow, I see that happening more and more.
Fantastic. Well, I can tell you the UB is in fact producing stellar talent. The first 2 Bahamian employees I've hired at my firm are UB graduates, and I must say they are really rock stars in terms of what they're able to accomplish. And so as we wrap up this second segment, if reflecting on your tenure as the longest serving and transitional president of the university. What is the main thing that really kind of stands out to you in terms of having served in this role?
Well, I could look back now and see that a lot of the challenges and obstacles that we went through were necessary, part of the growing pain, so to speak. But I am proud of the fact that we stuck together and we remained focused on what we were doing. And I think that in the long run, we are going to see a stronger faculty cadre. We're going to continue to see a stronger and more globally connected administration. We have our Vice President for Academic Affairs, for instance, was nominated for and sits on the board of the Chief Academic Affairs Officers Association of the United States. I know that our VP for Finance is very active with NACUBO, National Association of College and University Business Officers. And more and more of our administrators are being globally connected. I sit on the board of directors for the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. This is my third year now on that board. And so we're going to see more, the University of the Bahamas becoming more globally connected, sitting on boards on a global level like we're doing now, and bringing those benefits back into the University of the Bahamas for further expansion. That's the way we need to continue to go, and I believe we will.
I would say then your legacy is intact in the sense that you've been able to execute on the mission. Isn't that what the mission of UB is? Can you tell us the mission that was set out?
The mission of the University of the Bahamas is to provide access to education, to higher education, advance national development, and national development, protect academic freedom, and advance research, service, I'm not saying it in the exact same time, and character development.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it speaks to a global interaction, global community somewhere in there as well.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we created through our values proposition a few years ago, we came up with the motto that you'd see on our marquee from time to time.
Right.
Preparing students for a global society.
Yes, that's the motto I had in mind. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the motto.
Preparing students for a better life.
Yes.
In a global society.
Precisely. Yes. Okay. So I'd say the legacy is intact indeed in that regard. So I thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us your experience, and your tenure at the university is definitely respected on a national level. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Christian,
pleasure.
as well. Great. And thank you, Bahamian people, for joining us today on Jones & Company. I'm your host, Brian Jones. Hope to see you next time.